Hey, what's up, stock compounders? Brad here. So today I want to talk about airline stocks, particularly how safe are airline stocks right now. And in order to gauge that, we're going to look at the bond ratings, okay? There's so many of you who are, trying to figure out if you should buy airline stocks right now. And of course, Buffett's rule number one of investing is don't lose money. So if we can identify the riskiest airline stocks and avoid those, that's a big step in the right direction. So I'm going to look at the big four US airlines in this video. Of course, that stopped working. I'm going to look at the big four: American, Delta, Southwest, and United, okay? And get a sense for how risky are the bonds according to Moody's. And of course, there's two ways a company can raise capital to grow their business. And we're talking about public companies here. The first is to issue bonds, all right? To issue debt, where investors give them a lump sum up front to borrow. They're paid back an annual interest rate, and then once that bond hits maturity, they get paid back their entire initial investment, that investment principal. And bondholders are senior to equity holders. So if a company is in trouble, if they're going bankrupt, or if they just can't meet all of their obligations, they're going to pay off those bondholders first before the stockholders or the equity holders see a dime. So, if we can see how risky these bonds are, it gives us a sense for how risky the equity or the stock might be. So let's take a look at some of these bond ratings from Moody's. So the first one I looked for was American Airlines. And you can see here, rating action on June 22nd. Moody's assigns Ba3 rating to American's new senior secured term loan, okay? So the thing we want to remember here is Ba3 and senior secured, okay? And I wrote these down so you don't have to remember them. So that's American. For Delta, we have a rating action on May 28th. Baa3, senior unsecured, okay? For Southwest, we've got a rating action on May 28th. Baa1, senior unsecured. And keep in mind, guys, you can do this for any company, and this will give you a good sense for how risky the equity is. I'm doing it for airlines right now. And then finally, for United, we've got a rating action on May 28th. Ba2, okay, that's for corporate family. We're going to ignore that for now. Ba3, senior unsecured, okay? So that's the one we're going to pay attention to, senior unsecured. Now, of course, we need kind of a cheat sheet to understand what these ratings actually mean, okay? So I want to go in order here from safest bonds to riskiest bonds. Southwest has the safest bonds, a rating of Baa1. You can see that right here. Now, if you follow this over, it's in the lower medium grade, investment grade bonds, okay? These bonds are investment grade. And it's the highest rating for these four airlines, Baa1, that's Southwest. Delta is number 2, Baa3, so that's right here. It's right at the bottom of the lower medium grade within the investment grade section. So you can't get any lower than this and still be investment grade. So it's kind of hanging on there. That's Delta. Number 3 is United, Ba3, okay? Right here, Ba3 for the senior unsecured. Now with that one, we have non-investment grade speculative, all right? These are speculative bonds. So you can imagine what the stock might be. Of course, if the price gets low enough, it can start to be compelling as an investment. That's something you have to gauge as an investor, how the price compares to the value of the stock. But if a bond is in speculative territory, I know that makes me pretty nervous as an investor in equity, which is kind of below the bond status in terms of order of getting paid. And then you see here, this is the non-investment grade junk bond category. All right, that's what United falls under. And then you have American Airlines, also BA3, but these are the senior secured bonds. Okay, now secured versus unsecured. Secured means these bonds are backed up by assets of the business, by collateral. Okay, and secured bondholders are always going to get paid before unsecured bondholders. So secured bonds are safer. And of course, these safer bonds for American Airlines are rated the same as the unsecured bonds for United Airlines. They're both BA3. Now, of course, if you're going to own bonds and you're owning unsecured bonds, you're going to want to know how much is out there in the way of secured bonds. Okay, how much is ahead of you in line to get paid if something goes wrong. So essentially what we've got Southwest and Delta, still investment grade, lower end of investment grade for Southwest and Delta. And then you've got United and American, which are really junk bonds. Okay, so if you're thinking about buying stocks in United and American, just be aware that the bondholders that are kind of ahead of you in terms of getting paid, those are junk bonds. Those are speculative grade bonds. So, that's really important for you guys to keep in mind, particularly, if you're an investor who believes in Warren Buffett's ethos of don't lose money. That's the most important rule in investing. If you can focus on not losing money, the rest of your kind of investment scenario will play out quite well. Obviously, if you don't lose money, what's the alternative? You're going to make money. So I just thought this was an interesting exercise. And I've done this before with Hertz stock. I took a look at the bonds for Hertz because obviously there were a ton of people on Robinhood buying Hertz stock. And I wanted to know, what are those investors that are ahead of those stockholders, of those equity investors? What is the risk being built in to the price of those bonds? And it was a pretty scary situation indeed. So just wanted to share kind of this bond analysis for the airline stocks in the U.S., American, Delta, Southwest, and United. And I'm curious to hear from you guys. Are you buying any of those 4 airline stocks? Let me know in the comments. And I'm curious just to get in your thought process, why are you buying airline stocks right now? Obviously, there's a ton of interest in airline stocks, probably because the price fell so much. I think it was, a lot of them fell 70% from those peaks in the beginning of 2020 down to the middle of March. It was like a 70, even 75% drop. So, I think that price plummeting really intrigued a lot of investors to buy into those airlines. But really do keep in mind, it's not that the stocks were a 70% discount after they fell. They were 70% less than they were before. But really, we need to be looking at what the value of these shares are, not just what the price history is, in order to kind of make an intelligent investment decision. So I'll leave you guys with that. Take care, stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.